You want to empower people to work flexibly and improve your employee experience by designing an office with a variety of space types which accommodate different work styles. It's not just about having bookable desks, but having collaboration spaces, focus areas, and booths. But what happens when these space types get booked out for an entire day by a single person when they don't really need it? This is known as camping, and it's a common headache because it blocks collaboration and interrupts the very flexibility that you're trying to provide. So what if you could make sure that your spaces are only available for the right amount of time automatically? You can take a booth like this, or a collaboration space like this, and set a policy that allows users to only book for the exact amount of time they need, freeing it up for the next person. Now it's important to note that to be able to change any of your booking policies, you'll need one of the roles available here on screen, as they have the necessary permissions. And just know that making any changes to booking policies can and most likely will impact how users use the platform. When changing the booking policy, there are 3 key areas that we can change them for. Firstly is the location. So when you change the policy for the location for a certain category of space, every space in that category will follow that policy. Next is the space level, where you can change the policy for an individual space, something like a desk or a focus space or a booth. And when you do this, this policy will override the location policy. And then there's the zone level, where you may have grouped multiple spaces into a single zone. You can change the booking policy for the zone, but just be aware that any spaces within the zone will inherit the zone booking policy. And the zone policy will override both the space and the location. Let's take a look at our location policy. We want to go down into the policies tab, and this is where we can find the policies for all of the different space types in the office. And we scroll down to our booking slots. You can see we've currently got AM, PM enabled, meaning people can book in the morning, afternoon, or for the entire day. What we want to do is switch it to interval. And what interval means is that when users select a space, they can book it for the specific amount of time they actually want to use it for. The first thing we see is our booking schedule, which is from 8 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. That gives us a 14-hour time period, and this follows the opening hours for the office. So when we select our maximum booking length, we'll be able to do it between 1 and 14. Now you will see more than that. There will be options for beyond that, but if we select one of those options, it will not allow us to enable the policy because it says that it can't be longer than the booking schedule. So if I take that back, and we could do 15, 30, or 45 minutes. You can also configure how long the space will hold for check-in after that booking has started. So for example, if I booked a space with intervals from 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I would have until 12:15 to check into that space before it automatically cancels and releases back into the system. And you'll notice underneath that enable recurring booking is actually toggled on. However, when the interval booking policy is enabled on a space, you will not be able to book it on a recurring basis. So that feature will not work on any spaces with interval booking policy. Additionally, any spaces with this policy enabled will be excluded from the waitlist, so they won't appear there either. Once we've configured our policy, we just hit save. From our 3D map, if I click into a space, we can see that the interface has changed, and now I can select the duration of the booking that I want to make, and then I'll select an available time slot. You'll see again, the maximum is 3 hours because that's what we set in our policy. Now I'm going to change that back to AM, PM and hit save. And we're going to take a look at individual spaces. So we are currently sat at desk 19, and I'll show you how to enable this policy for a single space. So we are currently in our location, and we'll go into spaces, and we'll scroll down and we'll find desk 19. I'm going to go into edit, and then we want to go into the booking slots tab. So the first thing we actually have to do is enable the slot template, and then we can choose our different booking slots. So we'll choose interval, and then we, again, just like location, are able to choose booking schedule and the maximum length. So I will choose 2 hours and hit save. And if we go back into our map and we click desk 19, we can see here that it is now operating with interval slots. And then we have our zone level. So let's take a look at that. And what we're actually going to do is this whole desk area here in our office is one big zone. So if I affect the policy for this zone, then every desk that is assigned to it will have to follow that policy. So to do this, we'll go into, again, our organization and location settings. And then we'll go into zones. We'll find the zone here. So we've got main desk area, and we'll go into edit this zone. We'll go into booking slots, we'll select our interval, and we can set the duration, and we'll hit save. So if we look back at our map, previously we were looking at desk 19, which is of course following the policy. We could look at desk 4, which is actually where I'm currently sat. And every single one of them is following the correct policy. So now you can create a more flexible workplace, optimize your space, and provide an enhanced employee experience by using the interval booking policy. For more information, you can use our help center. I'll put a QR code on screen so you can scan it and be taken straight there.